Hi and welcome to Ajele Sef. What a weekend and week it's been, but we'll get into that in a bit. But then before we do, don't forget to follow all our social media handles at Ajele Sef. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to leave a comment. Let's start with the La Liga. The El Clasico happened over the weekend with Real Madrid winning by 3-1, and there was a VAR controversy in that game, which we'll talk about in a bit. Atletico Madrid were at home to Real Betis, winning by 2-0, and Eibar scored Sevilla by 1-0. Let's take a look at the German Bundesliga. Bayern Munich scoring Frankfurt by 5-0, and Borussia Dortmund scoring Schalke 04 by 3-0. Let's take a look at Italy. In Italy, AS Roma and AC Milan drew by 3-3. Verona and Juventus also drew, and Inter Milan won by 2-0. Let's go straight into the Eredivisie, when Ajax won by 13-0 last weekend. A very, very absurd scoreline, but then that's what happened over the weekend. 13 goals for Ajax. Let's move directly into the English Premier League. So over the weekend, lots of big teams played, and some of them were a bit surprising, others not so surprising. And yet again, Pep Guardiola's side keeps struggling, drawing with West Ham over the weekend by 1-1. And the excuse people are giving for Pep Guardiola is that some of his players are out. But then if you look at Pep Guardiola's squad and you look at his bench, it is good, more than good enough to be a starting 11 for another side. So to me, Guardiola has no excuse at all. So as to what their problems are, he has to sort them out, because he entirely has the backing of his owners, and then he keeps buying and he keeps making different signings. So then it should work for Pep Guardiola. Manchester United and Chelsea also drew by a goalless draw. And in that particular game, there was also a VAR controversy when it came to Harry Maguire's tackle in the 18-yard. Again, sort of points out the credibility in the VAR as to whether VAR is spoiling football, is ruining the beauty of football, or is really there to help football evolve and help football get better. But in my opinion, VAR is incompetence, because it feels like they do the wrong things at the right time and do the right things at the wrong time. So there's still issue with VAR, and then we'll see how it's going to go, if VAR is going to get better at what they do. Let's look at Arsenal. And Arsenal lost by 1-0 against Leicester City as well, and then courtesy of Jamie Vardy. And it feels like Jamie Vardy likes to score against Arsenal, and it was his first time he scored against Arsenal when Arsenal playing at home. So there you have it, Jamie Vardy scoring for Leicester City and Arsenal losing by 1-0. Liverpool also won by 2-1. And I feel like Diego Jota is starting to prove his class in that Liverpool squad, because he's come through and he's pulled through for them when they really needed him the most. And someone made a statement last weekend, and the person was like, could it be that the fans not being available in the stadium is causing the Premier League to look a bit shaky, because it's just less than 10 game weeks, and then every team in the PL has lost, and it hasn't happened in a very long time. And let's not forget, Everton also lost to Southampton by 2-0. Leeds scoring Aston Villa by 3-0. So it means that all the teams we thought were invincible when the league started have been murdered. So there you have it. That was what happened in the English Premier League. So we'll see how it's going to go this weekend for the teams who are struggling, and then for the teams who are trying to pick up themselves from their previous defeats. The second round of games for Champions League has been played Tuesday through to Wednesday, and yet again, Real Madrid. And I don't know what the problem is at Real Madrid. I feel like they are trying to build a team around a couple of people, and then it's not working for them, because Zidane is really struggling. And then I've already heard Madrid fans trying to push the Zidane out movement. But then I feel like if Zidane leaves, who will be able to take over Real Madrid, and who will be able to make Real Madrid a better team? Because they brought in Hazard for Hazard to be able to emulate or to be able to replace Ronaldo. But then where is Hazard? He's been very underperforming since he went to Real Madrid. So Real Madrid really have issues they have to look at, because they were saved by luck. They could have lost again. And then the most interesting part is that they are yet to meet Inter Milan, who are also struggling a bit. So then whoever loses that second game, the third week game is in trouble, because they are all trying to find their bearings. Right now, the Champions League groups, they are all open. So Real Madrid is struggling. We'll see if they'll be able to pull their weight against Inter Milan, which I doubt. but we'll see how that is going to go. Chelsea won by 4-0 against Krasnodar, and let's not forget this is the first time they are appearing in the Champions League, but then we don't take the 4 goals that Chelsea scored against them away from them. It was a good performance from Chelsea, looking at the fact that they were a bit on the hot side when it came to the very first half, because Krasnodar were making runs and they were creating chances. Edward Mendy coming through for Chelsea once again. Barcelona also scoring 2-0 against Juventus. Juventus had a couple of goals disallowed. Yet again, the credibility of VAR comes to play in that particular game as to whether their goals were supposed to stand or they were not supposed to stand. We don't know, but then yet again, VAR has shown that it has its issues and it has to evolve, it has to develop. If not, football is really going to get boring and it's really going to go down the drain this time for real. Let's also not forget Manchester United scoring RB Leipzig by 5-0. United scored last weekend against Paris Saint-Germain, who were finalists, and they've scored RB Leipzig, who were semi-finalists in the Champions League. And one problem I think I'm having when it comes to this whole United winning last weekend and then United winning this weekend. I'm not saying this because I'm a United fan or anything, but I feel like people are not being objective when it comes to these issues. When Ole makes mistakes, people are very quick to back at him. People are very quick to point out his mistakes. But every time he does the right thing, it's either the other team were poor, the other team played better. I mean, yesterday I was watching a few pundits have their say on the game, and then one pundit made a statement that RB Leipzig had a better game, and I was wondering, I was like, really, like, how do you people come and sit here and then make such arguments? How do you people come and sit here and then put such thoughts together? Because if it was Liverpool, if it was Manchester City, if it was Chelsea or any other team, it would have been, oh, what a splendid performance from them, because they were able to get 5 goals past RB Leipzig. This is a very young side. A young side who went to the semi-finals, and United have been able to score them by 5 goals, keeping a clean sheet as well. I just feel like when Ole fools around, he should be called and then he should be told that this is what you did wrong, or this and that is what happened. But then when he does the right thing, he deserves credit for it. So then, as much as he's a PE teacher, I feel like these past 2 weeks he's gotten his tactics right. So then Ole has really tried. I just hope he continues, because United have a habit of being very inconsistent, and that is their biggest challenge. So those were the big games that happened in the Champions League. One of the biggest problems when it comes to football now is the issue of VAR. Before we talk about that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to leave your comments and let me know what you think. Don't forget to follow all our social media handles as Ajili Steph. So let's look at VAR. What is VAR doing to our football? It's taking the beauty out of the game, because it feels like they are doing the wrong things at the right time. They're doing the right things at the wrong time. And then it's been very clear these past few weeks in the Champions League, in the Premier League, in other leagues as well. Last weekend's game, United against Chelsea, a couple of issues came up. When it came to the game between Barcelona and then Real Madrid, there was also an issue that came up with VAR's credibility. Again, in the Champions League this week, VAR has done what it does best. So my question is VAR going to progress from what they do? Is it going to get better, or is it going to get worse? Because it feels like it keeps getting worse and they don't know what they are doing. Even they at the top don't know what they are doing. So then where is VAR taking football? Let me know what you think. Should VAR still be used in football, or it should be taken out completely, or it should be put in check as to how things are run when it comes to referees and then whoever sits behind the screen to monitor whatever happens on the field? So let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments in the comment section, and then let's get talking about how VAR is spoiling our football. Let's take a look at the upcoming games in the different leagues in the world. So let's start with La Liga. In La Liga this weekend, Real Madrid are home to Huesca. Atletico Madrid are away to Osasuna. Sevilla are away to Athletic Club. And Barcelona are away to Alves. In Italy this weekend, Inter are at home to Parma. Juventus are away to Spezia. Lazio are away to Torino. Napoli are home to Sassuolo. And Roma are at home to Fiorentina. In the English Premier League this weekend, Wolves are home to Crystal Palace. Sheffield United are home to Manchester City. Burnley are at home to Chelsea. Liverpool are at home to West Ham. Aston Villa are at home to Southampton. Newcastle are at home to Everton. Arsenal are away to Manchester United. Brighton are away to Spurs. West Brom are away to Fulham. Leeds United are at home to Leicester City. And it promises to be A very interesting weekend in the English Premier League because there are a couple of big games this weekend. How are Leeds going to fare against Leicester City? Is Manchester United going to keep its form against Arsenal? Let's not forget, when United won by 3-1 last season against Paris Saint-Germain, the following games, the games that came after were in shambles. They kept losing and they kept losing. Arsenal scored them 2-0. Let's see how it's going to go this time as well. So those are the games that are happening in the English Premier League this weekend. So there's no way I'm going to end this podcast without talking about my boy Rashford. Rashi, my baby. So Marcus Rashford scored 3 goals against Leipzig on Wednesday. And I read something somewhere that said that Nagelsmann was refusing to feed his family, was refusing to feed his children. So before he went on the field to go and play, Ole told him that he has to discipline Nagelsmann. And indeed, he netted a hat-trick. That is my boy. That is my baby, man. You people you put disrespect Rashford so much and then it really hurts him. But then he's proven to you guys that he can do well on and off the pitch. So Marcus Rashford, hat-trick. His very first hat-trick for Manchester United, and he's out there doing what he can do best, and I know for a fact that there's still more to come from him. So don't sleep on Marcus Rashford. You guys should stop disrespecting Marcus Rashford. After all, he's an Ole baby, so we'll see how he's going to fare as the weeks come. So in today's podcast, we've looked at the upcoming games. We've looked at some of the games that happened over the weekend. We've looked at the Champions League games. We've looked at the issue of VAR once again because it's a very pressing issue. We've looked at Marcus Rashford netting his first hat-trick for Manchester United. So there you have it. This is where you draw down the curtains on today's podcast. Don't forget to follow all our social media handles as Seth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to leave your comments and let me know what you guys think. #A girl can love football.